It's golden, crispy, perfectly bite-sized. A chicken nugget straight out of the fryer, steam rising, crust cracking, meat pulling apart with every dip into sauce. But behind that satisfying crunch is a factory process most people never see. Because beneath the breading lies a truth that's anything but appetizing. High-speed machines, emulsified meat paste, chemical binders, and hundreds of thousands of nuggets produced every single hour. Americans eat over 2.3 billion pounds of chicken nuggets a year. But how are they made? What's actually inside? And why is the real process so hidden from view? Let's step inside a modern poultry processing plant and reveal how chicken nuggets are really made. Chicken nuggets aren't just popular, they're cultural. They're in fast food kids' meals, on bar menus, in school lunches, and in giant frozen bags lining supermarket freezers. Part of the appeal is convenience. Nuggets are fast, familiar, and built to be consistent. No bones, no prep, just heat and eat. But it's also about price. Compared to whole chicken cuts, nuggets are cheap to produce and even cheaper to scale. What most people don't realize is that behind the nugget's simplicity is an engineered product, built for mass production, shelf life, and margin. And it all starts with birds, not parts. Forget the urban legends about beaks and feet. Modern nuggets start with whole chickens, not scraps. At large poultry processing plants, live birds arrive in crates. They're quickly stunned, slaughtered, defeathered, and cleaned using a streamlined, automated system designed for speed and sanitation. Each bird is inspected and passed through a series of high-speed machines that portion it into usable sections: breast, thighs, wings, and trim. Breast meat is typically reserved for premium products. What's left, the smaller, irregular cuts and trimmings, becomes the foundation for nuggets. This trim isn't waste, it's meat. But not the kind you'd grill or serve whole. It's too small, uneven, or fatty for traditional cuts. So instead, it's collected, chilled, and staged for the next step: mechanical separation. Once the trimmings are collected, the next step is mechanical separation, where machines extract every usable gram of meat left on the bone. This process uses high-pressure systems to press chicken carcasses through a fine sieve. Muscle tissue is forced through. Bone, cartilage, and connective tissue are left behind. The result is a pale, paste-like substance with a texture somewhere between dough and foam. It's efficient and ensures no meat goes to waste, but it's also where the visual of pink slime comes from. This paste is technically chicken, but it's far removed from the recognizable cuts you'd find in a butcher shop. It's high in protein, but also higher in fat and moisture than whole muscle meat. The USDA allows mechanically separated chicken in processed foods, but it must be labeled. Many nugget producers either blend this slurry with solid cuts or avoid it altogether for higher-end products. But at mass scale, it's often the base, ready to be blended, seasoned, and reshaped into something familiar. Once the raw meat and mechanically separated chicken are portioned, it's time to turn them into a uniform base. First, everything is sent through industrial grinders. Chicken trim, skin, and fat are ground together into a fine mince. This forms the meat base, but it's not enough on its own. To bind the texture and extend shelf life, processors add water, salt, starch, and phosphates. These help retain moisture and give the final nugget that signature bounce and chew. Then come the emulsifiers. High-speed blenders whip the ground meat into a thick slurry, smooth, pale, and easily shaped. Some formulations also include chicken broth, natural flavors, or monosodium glutamate, MSG, to enhance taste. At this point, the mix is closer to cake batter than meat, but it's ready for shaping. The slurry is stored in chilled hoppers and piped directly into molding machines, where the nugget takes form. Once the slurry is chilled and ready, it's pumped into nugget-forming machines. These machines use molds, often shaped like bells, boots, balls, or bones, to portion out the slurry with pneumatic pressure. Each nugget is molded to uniform size and weight, then released onto a moving belt. Some facilities use extrusion, pressing the slurry through a nozzle and slicing it into portions with a rotating blade. Others use robotic portioners that cut and shape each nugget in perfect rhythm with the conveyor. To hold their shape, the nuggets are flash frozen right after forming. This hardens the meat blend just enough to survive the next step, breading. At this point, the nugget is still raw inside. but it looks like the final product, just waiting for a crust. Now comes the part that gives the nugget its iconic crunch. Each formed nugget passes through a multi-stage breading line. First, a dusting of dry flour, then a dip in seasoned batter, then a final layer of breadcrumbs, often made from reconstituted bread, dried and pulverized for uniform coating. This triple-layer system helps the breading stick and gives the nugget its golden finish. Next, the nuggets are par-fried in hot oil, usually canola or soybean oil, at temperatures around 375 degrees. This quick fry sets the breading and gives it that crispy, sealed exterior. But the inside? Still raw. This step isn't meant to cook the chicken fully. It's designed to build flavor, color, and texture, so when you reheat the nugget at home or in a restaurant, it finishes evenly without turning soggy. After frying, the nuggets are drained, cooled, and sent directly to freezing. Fresh out of the fryer, nuggets are still warm and fragile. To lock in texture and extend shelf life, they're sent into spiral freezers, giant multi-tiered chambers that blast cold air across the moving product. In less than 20 minutes, each nugget is frozen solid to the core. Once frozen, they're sorted and funneled into weighing machines that portion them into bags, boxes, or food service cartons. Every pack is scanned for weight accuracy, sealed with a barcode, and printed with a lot number for full traceability. Larger boxes are stacked onto pallets, shrink-wrapped, and moved into warehouse freezers where they can sit for months before being shipped nationwide. From grind to blast freeze, the entire process takes less than 2 hours. Fast food chains receive bulk cartons. Grocery stores get branded bags. But the nugget inside is usually the same. Chicken nuggets aren't just made of chicken. They also contain a cocktail of food-safe additives designed to enhance texture, flavor, and shelf life. Common ingredients include sodium phosphates to retain moisture, modified food starch for stability, chicken flavoring powders for taste, yeast extracts or MSG for umami, citric acid and sodium bicarbonate as pH balancers. Some nuggets are nearly 50% breading by weight. Others contain over 20% fat and up to 10% water. Labels often read, "made with white meat," which is technically true, but doesn't mean the meat is premium or whole. It can include trim, slurry, and mechanically separated content. The term nugget itself isn't defined by the USDA. As long as the product meets general safety standards and discloses ingredients, the shape, blend, and additives are up to the manufacturer. In other words, your nugget could contain dozens of ingredients and still be labeled chicken. Inside a poultry processing plant, everything runs on a rhythm measured in seconds. Nuggets are shaped, breaded, fried, frozen, and packed in continuous loops, thousands per minute, millions per day. Conveyor belts stretch for hundreds of feet. Fryers bubble nonstop. Packaging arms fill box after box without pause. These factories run 24/7 with rotating shifts. Workers wear sterile suits, hairnets, gloves, and boots. Every surface is stainless steel. Cleaning crews sanitize every inch of the equipment daily, sometimes between shifts, sometimes on the fly. USDA inspectors are often on site, checking for compliance, food safety, and cross-contamination risks. But mistakes still happen. Recalls have occurred due to plastic fragments, undeclared allergens, and contamination. In an environment moving this fast, a single oversight can scale into a nationwide issue overnight. Still, the system is optimized to minimize risk and maximize throughput. It's industrial food at its most efficient, but also at its most impersonal. Chicken nuggets are no longer a mystery. They're engineered, measured, shaped, flash-fried, frozen, shipped, and sold by the billion. The modern nugget may not be made of bones and beaks, but it's still far from natural. Behind every crispy bite is a paste of emulsified meat, chemical binders, and a breading system designed to crunch just right. It's fast food by design, efficient, scalable, profitable, and most people never think twice. So the next time you tear open that paper bag or pop a nugget in the microwave, ask yourself, does it taste the same now that you know what's really inside? The truth isn't always tasty, but it's always worth biting into.